Hey, what's up, Will? I have no idea how long of a video I will have time for, but I'm hoping I will have a package come in today, and so I may end up unboxing, or I may end up splicing this video together with an unboxing later on, so we'll see how it goes. And what I want to talk about is, just my music video, my Christmas music video, which, um, I just really, I wish I could, I wish there was an easier way to take the videos from Suno to YouTube, but I guess the way I'm doing it is all right. And I just wanted to say that, it's just awesome. Not only does it generate an AI song, but you also get a picture generated by AI to represent the song. And I just wish you had more control over that. So what I did with this one was something very neat and clever. I changed the image, to represent different lines in the song, about the snow. And I just think it would make an awesome music video if only I could put my real voice in there instead, my actual voice, studio quality, singing it. But I think it'd be a beautiful music video if I could make that. And I could, it could be like a cool theme of like a pool party, basically. We could start off with me, near a swimming pool, and everybody, it's Christmas Day, everybody's wearing Santa hats and things that indicate that we're in December, even if it's not in real life. And what could happen is it could be like a swimming party, sunny, beautiful day, looks like they're in Florida. But then by the end of the song, we could get some fake snow and have me like this, like when it actually snowed in Texas, just raising my hands up to the sky and just feeling so happy about the fact that it's snowing, even though in the music video it would be fake, obviously, like, have this pool party and all of a sudden, it begins to snow. And I think that would be a beautiful music video. Oh my gosh. It's like I just amaze myself with every song that I generate. It's like just wow. You know, I mean, if only I could be 20 years younger and discovering this. But, it just brings tears to my eyes, no matter what the song is. The first time I hear it, it's like, oh my gosh, retarded little me is able to write beautiful poetry. And as long as I don't have a bunch of typos, I upload it and I am just amazed by what Suno can do with my simple little cutesy poems that most people probably wouldn't like. And, it's just amazing. All it really is just text to speech software. That's what it really is, perfected into music. It's like, and I've just always, I've always liked text to speech software, obviously because well, since about the age of 13, I've always hated the fact that I would never have the voice that I felt that I should have had or come into, in my teen years. And so the text to speech software, well, before that, there was the voice changer, wherein I entertained myself for hours in the 90s by recording myself at a faster pace, and then playing it back at a slower pace. And I had to learn how to talk fast, to keep up with it. And I was just, it's almost like hearing the voice of my inner soul. And it's creepy. But then with text to speech software, it's like I could borrow the vocal cords of an actual male and just type a message and hear it read by an actual human male voice. However unnatural it may have sounded, because it is a bot or a computer program, but it's based on an actual human's voice who recorded himself. And so I enjoyed that. And now we have like this whole new world of generating music with that technology. It's like nothing I could have ever imagined in the past. It's like, the radio into my head. It's like putting a radio into my inner thoughts, when I generate these songs. And so, yeah, I just love AI music. And one thing I want to talk about is, just more. I mean, I don't want to put that in the title of my video because I don't want people to think that that it's clickbait, um, that I'm trying to use this case to get people to watch my videos, because I'm not. And really, I'd actually prefer if they didn't see my videos. But, it just really, I mean, I'm watching this train wreck unfold that is the Anderson family. And, it's just, for one thing, it makes me feel really old, to see these little bitty kids. Knowing that when I first discovered Faith Ward Baptist, I mean, it was just 3 little boys and a new baby girl. Their only daughter, Miriam, was only 1 year old. And so they had 3 little boys, a baby girl just learning to walk named Miriam, and then another one on the way that they named Rebecca. And so, and it's just totally blows my mind to see all 4 of these adult children. And it makes me feel really old to see how mature they look, in knowing that for obvious reasons they're young enough to be my child. I mean, Pastor Anderson is only 2 years, well, he's not even 2 years older than me. Like, we're very close in age. He could have, well, he really should have probably married a woman about my age instead of older than him, which is bizarre right there. I mean, it's creepy to me, when a man marries an older woman, even by 1 day, because males are immature, and because women, I am totally, not attracted to younger men, for the simple reason that I don't want them to outshine me in my beauty. I don't want a younger, better looking man than me, because how can I be the pretty one or the delicate one or the one that hasn't been around the block, so to speak, if I'm also the older one? You know what I'm saying? I have never understood how a woman can be attracted to a younger male. I don't care what he has going for him. The fact that he didn't exist when I was born, immediately makes me not attracted to him. And so, I mean, how can you be a little girl, so to speak, a Lolita in a relationship if your daddy is your height and or younger than you? You know what I'm saying? That's why I've always wanted older, taller, darker men. Well, not necessarily darker. I mean, equally dark, I guess, is good enough. Brown or black hair. I don't want blondes or redheads, basically. If your hair is the color of autumn leaves, then I'm not attracted to you. Or if it ever was, because, I mean, it changes in puberty. But you can't be a Lolita or a Loli if your daddy is about your age or younger, and or about your height or shorter. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I like to call him daddy man. I used to call him a daddy man when I was like a teenager. And, men old enough to be my father were the only ones that I could see myself being attracted to. But of course, that's getting harder to do now that I'm over 40, and it's freaking depressing. But, how can your daddy be someone that is about your age or younger, and or about your height and shorter? You know what I'm saying? I don't like that kind of a relationship. I mean, I've just always liked the thought, if I was to be in a relationship with a man, I would want to be severely mismatched in height and age. You know what I'm saying? Much older and much taller, which is why there is only one man that I've ever obsessed upon, and I will not say what his name is, but a man that I met way back, when I was 13. And another thing I want to talk about real quickly is how I noticed that a lot of my most tumultuous or life-changing years have been the ones that either began with my birthday on a Wednesday and or ended with my birthday on a Thursday. 85, 86, I went from 2 to 3 years old, and that's the year I got potty trained, which is perhaps the most important thing I would ever learn. Cause, well, I was 2.5 about. And so by 3 years old, I mean, there were no more diapers whatsoever. Then, of course, my second grade year was somewhat like that, but the leap day kind of messed it up. So basically, the years with 3 Friday the 13th by and large. Like when I was 2 years old, there were 3 Friday the 13th, September, December, and June, right before I turned 3. Then my second grade year also had 3 Friday the 13th, but they were, instead of June, it was March because of the leap day. And that was kind of a very life-changing year as well. And it was the year when my mom was pregnant and then had my little sister by the end of the school year. And so 8 years old, my 9th year of life, that was a very life-changing year. So my 3rd year of life, the year I got potty trained, that was probably the most life-changing year ever, the most important skill I ever learned. Then 8 years old, I went from an only child to an older sister by almost 9, 8 3/4, you can say. And that one was slightly different, but it still had 3 Friday the 13th, because the leap day only made the Friday the 13th happen sooner, not later. And so it was like September, December, March. So every 3 months or 91 days, we'd have a Friday the 13th. So 3 shades of blue in birthstones. Then, of course, my unforgettable 7th grade year when I met this man that I'm thinking of. The only man I ever thought of as a boyfriend, though it's really nothing sexual. That was a turning point year wherein I would never think about the common cold the same way after the 7th grade. It's like a life-changing year wherein I started memorizing exact or approximate dates of colds from there on out. And we have the Friday the 13th in September, December, and June of 96 and 97, respectively, just like when I was 2 years old. Because it was 11 years later, of which 3 had leap days. Okay, so that's a remainder divisible by 7. So then the next year that was like that was 6 years later, because only one of them had a leap day. And that was my bad first year of college when I nearly ended it on Monday, Cinco de Mayo, the first one since 7th grade. And that had been the first one since I was 2 and not in school yet. So, that was a very life-changing year. My first year of college, just started driving, and then about 5 years later, it was different because of another leap day. It didn't start out that way, but it ended up with another Monday Cinco de Mayo, and I want to say that was like 2008 or 07, 08. Yeah, that's what it was, because it didn't have the 3 Friday the 13th. We went from a July 13th in 2007, but instead of having a 14-month period with none, we had a Friday, June 13th. So I had 2 Friday the 13th at the age of 24. Yeah. And that was, so it didn't start out like my 7th grade year, but it ended up that way because of leap day, you see. And so I had like my birthday go from like a Tuesday to a Thursday instead of Wednesday to Thursday. And so that was a life-changing year for a couple of reasons. I didn't know it, but from that point onward, I would only ever have 1 cold per year, every single year. And the other thing that happened was I began eBay. And of course, I've been doing it ever since. I made my first purchase on eBay and didn't know how quickly and how seriously I would become hooked on that. And so also later on that year, after, I turned 25, we got hit by Hurricane Ike. So that was somewhat of a life-changing year. And a few other things happened that I don't really want to go into because I don't have time. And then the next year that was like that was 2013 and 14. And that was the first year I worked at a fast food restaurant. And is the first year after we had moved, you know, to the town my mom was born in. But let's see. Oh, I also didn't have any colds that year at all, just like age 27. And then, of course, 19 and 20, you know, COVID made that year. That was like my second grade year. We had like Friday the 13th in September, December, March instead of September, December, and June. So that one was life changing because COVID-19 changed the world and only had one cold in December before the pandemic. And then this year is also going to be like that. So I never know. I have no idea how the world's going to change this year. So, not that other years didn't have life changing events, but those kinds of years, you know, where I experienced 3 Friday the 13th at that age, always seem to be very memorable. So, what this year might bring, I have no idea. But I'll go ahead and post this video.